and welcome to Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. And joining me today is none other than the Midgard Menace himself, the man that takes it to Kratos and gets angry and lets everybody know that he is about business inside the squared circle. Logan Ragnarok is here. Logan, how are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you, Joseph?
I'm doing wonderful. So we've got a little bit to catch up on. You were here a couple weeks ago, and you've had a great match with none other than Konnor Martin. We're going to talk about that. But before we get there, how did that get set up? How did you get that match? How was it presented to you?
Well, they're saying that when the time is right, it'll happen.
I guess the timing was right because you all had a huge match, a number one contenders match for the East Tennessee Heavyweight Championship. And I believe that there was a better outcome for you this time than the last time that you had a match there. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could definitely say that. Konnor was a great competitor. He was better than I thought he would be. Even though he hasn't been in the business for that long, but it looks like he's been performing, for many years. That's how much potential the kid has.
As do you, sir. And you got to realize that you guys may be young, you may be starting into the business and gaining your feet, getting your feet wet in front of these promotions and in front of these fans. But the biggest thing is you all will be the superstars one day, and you're proving it right now. You're in the proving ground right now. And the East Tennessee Heavyweight Championship is nothing to sneeze at, as you've already faced Max Abel one time. You were unsuccessful in that time, but you did show promise there.
Yeah, so even though I couldn't get the job done against Max, but experience is the best teacher. You learn from your experiences. You learn from your mistakes, and not to make the same mistake twice. Even though
experience. Wait a minute, Mr. Joseph.
How did you get here? Who is this?
This is Malik. You knew it would be only a matter of time, Joseph, before I ended up on this platform. You're talking about experience. Why are you talking to him?
Well,
he has no experience.
He has experience.
None.
Come on, Malik.
None whatsoever. Let's talk about real stuff. Go ahead, pop him off the line. Joseph. Let's talk about some real things. Let's talk about some real wrestling news. Let's get to the beef. Let's get to the heat. Let's talk about all the stuff.
Real wrestling news.
Stuff, Joseph.
Logan, do you think that you're not real wrestling news?
Come on.
Yes, we are. SOM. Hey, is he still on the line?
He's still here. Yeah.
Is he?
I'm here, Malik.
Go ahead and go clean a bathroom at SOM or go and go do the things that the Green Boys do.
So you want to talk about the Green guys?
Do you understand what a Green Boy is? Do you understand?
I know what that is. I know exactly what that is. Hey,
okay, good. So that means the first couple of years that you're in wrestling, you're not even supposed to open your mouth. You're not even supposed to open your mouth for the first couple of years that you're in wrestling. And here you are on a podcast running your mouth. You've had a couple of greenhorns on here, Joseph.
We have because we're trying to get exposure to the best of the best. And I believe Logan Ragnarok is one of the best of the best.
On here. And that's why I'm here, Joseph. We got a lot of things to talk about. You and I had a good weekend, didn't we, Joseph? You got to sit in the co-pilot. You got to be the host. You got to be the man. You got to be the guy this weekend, didn't you?
I was definitely co-host to none other than yourself at Mayhem this past week.
You were the host, my friend.
I wouldn't say that. There's lots of shoes to fill there. I will never fill Uncle Bob's shoes. God rest his soul.
Scott Elliott? No, Scott Elliott's. I mean, whose shoes do you got to fill?
Uncle Bob.
I mean, you're great. Don't undersell yourself like that. You got that velvet voice.
I wouldn't say that,
sir. It'll be a matter of time before you understand. You think.
I hope so.
Is Ragnar still here?
He still is. Logan, do you have anything else that you'd like to say, sir?
So, you say that I'm on a podcast running my mouth, huh? I'm scheduled to be in this interview right now. If I wasn't scheduled, I wouldn't say anything. It's simple as that.
Well, hey, I tell you what, buddy. I really have a lot of I do. I have a lot of faith in you. I really do. I think you have a lot of potential. There's just a couple of things you got to work on, man. It's nothing bad, and you do take that criticism well. You do. I will give you that. Those things that we got to work on. They're not really that big. Just a couple of things. We got to work on your talent. We got to work on your charisma. We got to work on how you talk, and we got to work on how you work. So if we can get those things all kind of figured out, the sky's the limit for you, bro. It really is.
That's a lot to take in.
Speechless. Okay. Hello. There's a reason that I've been the mouthpiece of SOM for going on. It's going on 4 years because I had to step in because somebody couldn't do what they had to do. But hey, opportunity knocks. We've talked about that before, Joseph, and you're at SOM because you know about opportunity. I'm at SOM because I know about opportunity. And even Logan, you're there because you know about opportunity. I will give you that. You are in the best place.
He is in one of the best places, and he's definitely opened the door when opportunity is knocked. I've got to give him that credit, Malik. Before we go any farther there, I have to at least take up for him on that front. He's put on a great showing against some of the best that the School of Morton has to offer, and he may have come up a little short more than one occasion, but he's taken them to the limit. He's taken them to that place that we all know as Kratos. So I don't want to sit here and short sell Logan in any manner. Logan Ragnarok is one of the best.
No. You're right. And I'm so glad that you did that for him because he couldn't do it himself. So you got to have a mouthpiece sometimes. And that's why there's managers in wrestling. Hey, you might want to think about that, Joseph. Maybe as a side hustle. Never know. A lot of guys need to have representation. I did that for when I first started at SOM. A lot of guys can't talk. So I, on the other hand, that's here or there.
Well, you were primed and ready to go from the get-go, Malik. Logan, he actually does bring up a really good point. He brings up a really good point about management. And you know what? There's a lot of things that need to happen. There's a lot of things that need to be taken care of at SOM. And believe me, it starts at the top. It has to start at the top. And then it works its way down. But, guys like him, they are our future. They really are. And SOM is the breeding ground for the future. I will always say that. Wrestlers and promoters are a dime a dozen around the Tri-Cities and around Kingsport, around Knoxville, around East Tennessee. But quality is different than quantity. We both know that, Joseph. That's why you're with us. So what are you trying to say? You trying to say that Logan is quantity and not quality?
Well, right now he's fodder. He's going to have to step up. He is doing the things that he needs to do. I will admit, he is. He did come on a podcast tonight. That's better than 90% of the guys that are around here. Most guys are too busy just tooting their own horn, which he kind of did a little bit while he was on there. But that's to be expected. This is about self-promotion, correct, Joseph?
Absolutely. You've got to promote yourself in order to be a part of this business. You got to be able to talk to be a part of this business. You got to be able to present yourself in a professional manner to be a part of this business. And I think that he exudes that. However, as we've seen, he's been silent here tonight. What's going through the mind of Logan Ragnarok?
You really want to know what's going through my mind right now?
Yes, sir.
That's what he asked you.
What's really going through my mind, if I were to say it...
Sounds like a lot of wind.
What did you say?
He said it sounds like a lot of wind, sir.
A lot of wind is flying.
No. If I were to tell you what's really going through my mind, you'd be running away.
I can tell you one thing. I bet he was not on the debate team at high school, were you, buddy?
I never really cared about the stuff in high school. All I wanted to do was just graduate and just go live my life. That's all I wanted to do. I never played sports, didn't play any musical instruments, didn't do any basic school stuff. All I did was just get good grades, graduate, and that's it. I didn't care about the partying, the prom, like the sport games. I didn't care about any of that stuff.
Why is that, Logan? Were you just average at best?
Or was it the social skills weren't there? Was you didn't have good mentors in your life? I mean, what's up? Yeah, you didn't have a good guidance counselor? What school did you go to? Oh my gosh.
That doesn't matter what school I went to.
It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter because you're at the School of Morton now. That's the only school that really matters in our universe, really.
You know what? I'll agree with you on that.
And I think you would agree with that. I think we can agree on that.
I think that I would agree on that everybody here is at the School of Morton, and we're all here for a purpose and a reason. We're all driven to be at the next level and to go for the next level, including yourself, Prince Malik, and also including you, Logan Ragnarok. And in order to get to that next level, you have to challenge yourself daily. You have to step out of your comfort zone and be able to perform at a bigger level and at a better pace than you've ever been at before. And I think that you've exuded that to a certain degree, Logan Ragnarok, but I still think that there's challenges that lie ahead of you. For instance, there's somebody on another show, the Prince Malik show over there, a.k.a. Mayhem, Javen Myra. He's a monster. And I hate to bring this up, but somebody's got to do it. If he can take out RT3, who else can he take out? And we're not talking about just one time. We've seen it for the past 2 weeks now. He's taken out RT3. So are you willing to step up to that plate and play with the big boys? Or are you just going to sit where you're at and be comfortable?
I am not going to sit on my ass and do nothing. If I want something, I'm going to get it. You saw me taking Javen Myra to the limit at any time we stepped into that ring. And for the first time in his career, I saw the worry in his eyes that he was about to be humbled by a newcomer, Logan Ragnarok. And of course, he would have to use his little chain accessory to hit me right in the jaw and hit me with that Cobra clutch in order to get it done. Because that was his only hope.
The only hope, you say, sir? I don't agree with that. And there's a couple reasons why I don't. For one, yes, he did cheat to beat you. I will give you that. However, whatever you have to do, and you should know this, if you're a heel, it's whatever it takes to make a victory, right? Whatever it takes.
Correct.
By any means necessary. And, sir, I'm sorry, but I will put you on the spot on this one. You have to take it to wherever it takes. We talked about this the last time you were on the show. If you don't take it to that place, you don't go to Ragnarok, you don't get angry with these people, you're going to lose every time. Every single time. And I'm sure Prince Malik would agree with me that if you want a circus, you got to have some peanuts, baby, and you ain't got no peanuts to have the circus with right now.
And that's why we brought you on here right now. You know, growth is a hard thing sometimes, and and I've noticed the potential in you, but you just kind of get by to get by. You know what I mean? I mean, don't really stand out. I'm sure that there's something that you could do in the future, but right now, I have to agree with Joseph. You've become fodder, and you've become lost. And you're only going to slip further down unless you step up. And sitting in silence is one thing, but your actions are another thing too.
Very true. He is speaking truth to you. Logan, would you like to respond? Oh, wow. He is just gone. I'm going to try to get him back, guys. I do promise you. But Logan Ragnarok has dropped.
What, sometimes, Joseph, when the heat gets too rough, some people can't even take it. They got to go. That was a cerebral challenge for him this evening. I don't think he was expecting that.
Well, nobody was expecting you to be here. I don't even know how you got here, to be honest with you. How you got, and you hacked my phone system, obviously, because you're here on the phone. So, Prince Malik.
Well, it's amazing when you manifest, when you believe in something and you got persistency and you've got desire, nothing can stand in your way. Nothing.
Absolutely nothing can stand in your way when you have the desire, when you have everything that's going through. and you have the heart of a lion and you want to go through, nothing will hold you back. The question now becomes, will Logan Ragnarok have that heart of a lion, take the constructive criticism and use it to his advantage? And Prince Malik, I know that you've seen this time and time again, especially on Mayhem. And we're going to talk about Mayhem. We're going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about who's there, what's going on Mayhem. But you can attest to this. If you don't have the heart of a lion, you will not go anywhere in the wrestling business. You have to have thick skin, you have to have tough skin, and you have to be able to take constructive criticism from anybody, because it can come from anywhere at any time. And anybody in that locker room can give you great advice at any time. You have to be willing to learn. You also have to be willing to keep your mouth shut at some point in times to know when you're right or when you're wrong. Is that correct?
100%, my friend. You know, and you hit it right there. And that was kind of what I was trying to imply to our friend earlier, is that the first years that you're in professional wrestling, or, you know, let's just go to any vocation. You have to earn your rights. You have to be at the end of the line. Freshmen don't get to hang out with seniors when you first start.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I also believe this too, that yesterday's seniors are today's freshmen. If that makes sense.
Well, they're getting seasoned. We'll say it like that. Yesterday's freshmen and yesterday's seniors are now becoming freshmen again, because there's a lot of people who didn't learn the opposite side of the business side of the business. They don't know how to be businessmen. They don't know how to say no. They don't know how to say, I don't think that this is a proper spot for me. And they try too much. They're overachievers. Let's say it like that. You have to know sometimes if something's going to hurt you or hurt somebody else, and you have to know to say no. You have to be able to call it what it is. And there's a lot of people who are starting back at the beginning because they've hurt themselves. I'm actually one of them. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm one of those people. I broke my back in 2020, and I was not able to perform. I wasn't able to do anything inside the ring or outside the ring. And, starting back from a beginning point in this, it's very humbling, Prince Malik. So there's times where, yes, I run my mouth, but can I back it up anymore? That's going to be a good question, because I don't think I have the ability to step inside the squared circle anymore and hold my own with anybody. My pride wants to tell me yes, but my body is going to tell me no. And you know better than anybody, when you can write some checks that your body can't cash, you're in some trouble. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct. And in the world of professional wrestling, it happens fast. There's a saying that stuff gets silly really quick, and that can happen at any time in wrestling. It's not if it's going to happen, it's just when something like that is going to happen. This is I'm going on my 25th year in professional wrestling in one form aspect of another. I was brought in, and I was brought in during a different era. And you were in that era too. It was just a little bit different. It was more guarded. There was more kayfabe, and not everybody got to come and play. It was very guarded. And I was very blessed to be in that time during that transition.
You spoke about the guarded era, and the truth be told is we were cleaning toilets in the guarded era. We were putting out chairs. We were selling merchandise. We were in the back doing concession sales. We were pulling the ring up and taking the ring down. We weren't even allowed to be one of the boys. I mean, let's just be real with it. They didn't even consider us one of the boys.
That is true.
And so
that is true. And then, you keep your time in, and people talk about luck. There is no luck. There's hard work and then timing. And when those two things intersect with each other, you and I have talked about that. That's when the magic happens, and you got to put in that work for that to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And you hit it right on the head. They say like ministry is spelled W-O-R-K. Well, wrestling is spelled W-O-R-K. That's really what it is if you're not willing to put the work in, if you're not willing to put the time in, if you're not willing to put the effort in, if you're not willing to bust your balls and to show people that you belong and want to belong, they will never let you belong in this industry. They'll never let you in this industry. And, it's really sad that it's like that. But the truth of it is like you said, they've opened up the curtain. They've almost allowed anybody in. But if you're one of the boys, if you're really one of the boys, you're going to be able to do whatever it takes at any given time. If that means, hey, shut your mouth and let's go vacuum, or let's take out some trash, or let's do this, or let's do that. And we all get overlooked on some of that stuff, but that's the stuff that makes professional wrestling great. Let's set out some chairs tonight. Who wants to help me set out some chairs tonight?
Yeah. Jimmy Hart, you could see him doing that. We all know what Jimmy Hart's done. I mean, and like you said, nobody is too good to do all the work that goes into wrestling.
Right.
Nobody. And if you feel like I've seen people lose their championship titles because they did not break down a ring at the end of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. They thought that they've arrived and that they're too good for something like that.
Yes, sir. And when we see that all the time, and you know what? You know this too, Joseph. They wash out. They come in and then they're gone. They come in and then they're gone. But the true ones stay, and the true ones learn, and the true ones go through all that adversity. You know, that usually people would say, you know what, quit. Why are you doing this?
I think
that's when they say, I'm still going.
I think that's a really good segue, because we have got somebody that decided that he was not going to defend the SOM Heavyweight Championship on several different shows and was stripped of that title, comes back, and then has his ribs broken, ribs cracked right in the center of the ring. Yeah. And I'm not meaning this in a bad way, RT3. I'm not meaning this in a bad way, but we're starting to wonder what's going on with you. What's happening inside your head? What is really going on? Are you got personal issues that are taking place here? Family issues, things that are going on? Because your head's not in the squared circle. It's not where it should be, especially when you reach the pinnacle, the top of the ladder. What's happening to RT3, sir? Do you have a response for me?
I do. RT3, I've known the man since he's been at SOM. I have a lot of respect for him. But the problem with RT3 is he is his worst enemy. He is scared to death of success. It comes knocking on his door repeatedly, and each time he goes back to the old RT3. I got to go home. I got to go hang out with my girlfriend. I got to go. My mom needs something her car is broken. Whatever it is. I mean, it's always some excuse, and it's always right at the point. He even had a tryout with the NWA and choked.
That's rough, Prince Malik. That's really rough.
Here in Knoxville, choked.
That's really, really rough.
I love you, RT3. I do. But when you're given that opportunity, and that really disappointed me, that disappointed Ricky Morton, that disappointed a lot of people. And I don't think RT3's gotten over it. I don't know if he's going to pack his bags and go and do what they do where he's from. I don't know.
Well, do you think that he will be able to overcome that ring on the ladder and to hold that success, professionally hold that success, and carry it with a badge of honor in the future? That's the real question here.
I'm glad you brought that up, because if he's having this many issues getting it, how's he going to even hold on to it? I mean, if he got it, it would just be gone as fast as he had it. Just
wow. Gone. That's a wild take there, Prince Malik, to be honest with you. I have to say, I think that he can overcome it. I think that he can hold on to it. He's just in some growing pains right now. And like you said, the business isn't for everybody. And I'm not saying it's not for RT3, so please don't take it that way, RT3. But there's things you've got to overcome inside the business. You got to overcome the long hours. You got to overcome the travel. You got to overcome being away from your family. You have to overcome all sorts of things to be inside this industry. Eating on the road, knowing how to work out while you're on the road, keeping a professional attitude everywhere you go, because you're in the limelight in professional wrestling. People know who you are, whether you think they do or not. People watch the professional wrestling, and they watch it from all different angles, all different shows, and they know who you are all the way in California, all the way to Missouri, all the way to Minnesota. They know exactly who you are, and they're expecting to meet you at some point in time in your career. So you have to be professional with them too. And if you can't be professional at this level, how are you going to be professional at that level? That's a great question that only RT3 can answer. And will he be able to answer it this week on Mayhem? As we saw, Prince Malik, do you think he's going to overcome it? I mean, do you really think he can?
Well, first of all, he has to show up. That's thing number one. He's got to show up, because he's been having a real issue with that lately. Number two, he is not healthy. Like you said, his ribs, he's not 100%. And three, he is really getting lost in the shuffle here, RT3. He was the top dog here. His fans are not even on board with him anymore. I've tried everything. Actually, I've tried everything for almost 10 years to get rid of RT3, and he's still here. So I will give him that.
Well,
I will give him that.
You even said
Judith has tried to get rid of him for 10 years too.
You said his fans are even turning against him. It's even worse than that. It's almost like he's on an island to himself in the locker room. It's like he doesn't have any friends inside the locker room anymore.
That's right.
And that's a hard place to be. Who came to save
them? Yeah, nobody came. Usually, what? The locker room should have what? The locker room should have spilled out. All of his friends should have came and helped him. Crickets.
100%.
And even the fans were just like RT3, you can't even fight for yourself. I watched fans just leave. And Scott and I were there a couple of weeks when the Newport's Finest showed up down here at SOM. That was fun. Things happen.
Let's talk about that. So we have a monster in SOM, in Mayhem. His name is Javen Myra, and he's part of Bronson Garrett Enterprises. And Bronson Garrett seems to be the puppet master pulling the strings. And it seems like Javen has something to prove, and he's trying to prove it at the expense of RT3. Not only the expense of RT3, but the success, the culmination of who he is, and what he can do inside the ring. And it looks like the Heavenly Dragon has done that on a week in and week out basis. And he's actually kind of forcing the hand of RT3 to get into a match with him, hurt or not. And I've got to say,
he used his weakness.
Oh yeah. Women. I'll be the first one to say it. There was a beautiful woman in front of him. He got distracted. And what's the next thing that happens? Prince Malik, he gets hit from behind.
Yep.
And
that's right. And he was not focused.
You gotta know where your butter is bred sometimes. And I don't know if RT3 even realizes that it's gonna happen again if he doesn't get control of it now. It's gonna happen right now if he doesn't get control of it. So there's a lot going on.
RT3 even knows. Yeah, I wonder sometimes if he even knows that he's in professional wrestling sometimes, because he gets upset sometimes because he's like, oh, this is like a rough business. This is like tough. Does he know where this came from? The Carney days? I mean, does he know about where we came from, where we are? And of course, we're trying to change things as things go on. As time goes on, we have to change. But RT3 is like so surprised that this is a tough business. And he can't understand why he doesn't get all the breaks that he got in football, and that he got in his hometown, and that he got at his church, and that he got it everywhere that he's been, and he's not getting it in professional wrestling. Everything is not handed to him like it has been in his whole life up until now. That's a problem for RT3 also.
Well, I would agree with you to a certain point there. I think that there has been a lot of things that the doors have opened up to him because he's been a great athlete. He's been a great church member. Yeah. He's been a great congregational leader. He's been able to be charismatic with everybody that he comes in contact with. And it shows that he does have that ability, that he can manipulate the system if he wants to manipulate the system to climb to the top. The question is, does he have the character and the ability to keep him there? And I hate to do this. I hate to kind of move on because I know I'm going to give RT3 the option to respond at a later date. But we have to go into some other things that are happening with Mayhem as well. We already opened up the door to Bronson Garrett Enterprises. Devon Belcher won that hybrid title. And it seems like in his defenses that he's had, he's always found a way to weasel out with a win. And that's the nicest way to put it is, I can't give it all away because it hasn't aired yet, but we were there for Mayhem this past Sunday. And let's just say Devon Belcher had some prerequisite circumstances happen, and he ended up with that title still again. So would you even go as far as to say that Bronson Garrett Enterprises is looking to retain the gold, hold the gold, and keep it all for themselves?
He wants all the gold. He wants every title that's at SOM. And actually, he's become a madman. And he is a business associate of myself, and we have personal business that we work together. And what has been going on since Mayhem is in all this, he has really, really went over the edge. Now, you saw the outburst on Sunday, correct? We were there for that. We were both read the riot act at one point. He is just really, really upset. He is very paranoid right Now, we're not going to go into what he talked about this weekend, but would you agree that he is very paranoid right now?
I would say it goes a little bit beyond paranoia, but paranoia is kind of the right word that you're looking for. It's almost to madness. It's almost like Mad Hatter syndrome. Let's call it like that, is what we're going to call it. Is, he's taken it to a different place, and he's gone there, and he's so paranoid that he's so happy. That's how paranoid he is. He's so happy. Anybody that threatens his ability inside the ring, and matter of fact, he has not been inside the ring in a couple weeks, but the last time he did perform, if I am correct. The last time he got inside that ring, He did perform a move that he swears to God that he's not able to do anymore. But yet, he has the gall to sit here and want to sue anybody who calls him out on it. So it's a double-edged sword with him. He's paranoid to the point of he doesn't want to be criticized, but at the same time, he wants everything. He wants his cake and eat it too. That's the best way to put it, Malik.
Well, so it goes from everything from slander, accusations to character slander, and of course assault. Of course, you thought that was the funny one. Of course, all the different things. The legal red tape at SOM has just been insane in the last couple since the brand splits. Since we've gone to Mayhem and we've gone to Legacy. Things have gotten, let's just say they've turned up. Would you agree with that, Joseph, that things the heat has turned up?
I would say 110% the heat has turned up, especially on Mayhem, especially for everything that's been going on. Now, you spoke about it earlier. You said Newport's Finest had to come down last week and get involved because of everything that was going on at Mayhem. That should tell the fans and everybody else that's there at the School of Morton that there's a lot more involved than what they're talking about. There's a lot more stuff that has happened. And you've got to realize that this past week, there was a little man named Blade Gibson who definitely did not walk out of the building. And I'm going to give that little spoiler away. But I'm going to tell you this. It's definitely mayhem, to say the least, Prince Malik. Is that right?
People are getting destroyed on Mayhem. It's a polite way to put it. Like, I remember when I used to watch ECW. And I used to watch people like G.G. Allen, and I would get this kind of scary kind of feeling when I would go into these places. They make you nervous. That is how Scott won't even sit in commentary anymore on Mayhem. He will not do it. He said, I'm not going there. He warned you. I had to give you my grounding beads at one point. You did have an anxiety attack. I do know that. But to say that it has kicked up would be an understatement. And folks, the only way you can be there is by going. You got to come. You got to see this. We could describe it to you all you want, but there's no way you can describe that feeling that you have, that excitement. I can't explain it. I can't. But it's there at Mayhem. I don't know what's going on over at Legacy, but I know Mayhem is living up to its name.
Well, Mayhem is definitely living up to its name, especially after what we witnessed this past Sunday. And like I said, if you guys want to be able to catch all that action, you need to go to youtube.com and enter Ricky Morton and like and subscribe to the Ricky Morton channel so you can be kept up on all the Mayhem and Legacy action that's going to be taking place right there on his YouTube channel. And every Sunday, there's a brand new episode that comes out. So you all will be able to catch up on what exactly happened, what exactly we're talking about right now. If you'll head over there right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and watch Mayhem and Legacy. Now on Legacy, there's a lot that's going on, especially the return of Casey Kazana. But last week, what we got to see was Evan Golden's father got attacked. Evan Golden got trapped into a match with Big Dump Truck, and it didn't turn out so good for Evan Golden or Eddie Golden at all. And I've got to tell you, it's definitely heating up over there. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening on Legacy, and we want to invite each and every one of you guys to come to either one of the shows on Sunday. Legacy is going to be held this week, the 23rd. It's going to be at 128 Five Rivers Plaza in Newport, Tennessee, is where each and every one of you guys want to be. General admission tickets are going to be $10 at the door. Front row seating is going to be $15 at the door. Is that right, Prince Malik?
You got it. And you know what? Like, what do they say? We'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge, right? I mean, if you're going to even sit down, because we want you guys fired up. We're going to get you guys going. This is what wrestling is all about. This is old school wrestling. This is Tennessee wrestling. This is pro wrestling. This is entertainment. This is what we do.
Absolutely it is. And like I said, Josh Turner, TKO, the Savior himself, is going to be in a match with Evan Golden this week, right there at Legacy. And you guys don't want to miss it because Evan Golden is finally getting his hands on the leader of the Saviors himself. And it's going to be an exciting time at Legacy. So come join us this Sunday for sure at Legacy. And I'm going to tell you, man, tell them the Beaver sent you. Tell them Prince Malik sent you down. And you'll definitely have a good time right there. So, Prince Malik, we have a lot more to talk about as well as far as Mayhem goes. Let's talk about Commodore Legion Judas. Let's talk about Get 'em Kilgore a little bit because it seems like they're clicking. Oh, wow. They are all clicking on full cylinders. So,
well, I tell you what, with that tag team, you got a little bit of the old school and you get a little bit of the new school. You know, with Commodore Legion, there's your old school. Now, that is an evil man. Now, when I think about him, I think about like the minds of like Kevin Sullivan and Mark Lewin and all these like lunatics. I mean, because you've seen that Stanley Kubrick skull face that he has when he gets that look.
Absolutely,
it's very disturbing.
It's more than disturbing.
He is, and Bobby Lee, rest his soul, he could not even have interviews with them without seriously having a panic attack. He would. And think that's just one of them. And then when we got Get 'em, now he is the future. I've said this and I will not quit saying it. I believe that right there is our franchise. I believe it. I really do. And it's only a matter of time before everybody else will catch on to that. I like to be ahead of the curve. I like to see talent before other people see talent. And I see that in him. He could, and I know you agree with this too. His work speaks for himself. Now, who he hangs around with, people might question that, but I think he's in the perfect place at the perfect time with the perfect people.
Well, especially the manager that he has, Judas. Let's just talk about this. Now, Judas had a huge feud with Ricky Morton. He's always had a huge feud with Ricky Morton. And it's just ironic that he's working at the place for the man that he has the biggest feud with in all of professional wrestling. And not only that, he wants to destroy the School of Morton, and he wants to do it by any means necessary. And that's through Get 'em Kilgore. I've got to admit it. Get 'em Kilgore may be the future of this business. He is the future of this business. There is no may. He is the future of this business. And I've got to tell you.
That's right.
I've got to tell you, with Get 'em Kilgore at Judas's side, there is a lot that these two can accomplish. But you add Commodore Legion into that, and you definitely have something sadistic that's waiting to happen each and every week on Mayhem. Each and every week that they're there. Yes, so, sir. I mean, you got to admit.
Judas has been what?
Go ahead.
Judas has been wanting to do something for a couple of years. He's been wanting to. You talk about how much he hates Ricky Morton. Think of this. He wants to shave that mullet off of Ricky Morton's head and put it on a trophy. Think of that. That's where like Judas's head is. And think how iconic that mullet is. If somebody shaved Ricky Morton's head, that's what Judas's fantasy, his dream is. He wants to shave that mullet off of Ricky Morton's head.
That is absolutely crazy. 100% absolutely crazy, to be honest with you. I couldn't imagine that happening. And if it does, I would say make it a hair versus hair match. Let's just call it what it is. If you're going to do it, hair versus hair, baby.
I think so, and I think that would be great. I think Ricky Morton would probably be scared to death of something like that because that's his brand. That's him. That's it.
Absolutely.
So for Judas to get that would be the ultimate trophy. The ultimate trophy.
It's even in the logo. It's ingrained in the logo at the School of Morton.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's super iconic. Going all the way back to the Rock and Roll Express and maybe even before that with Robert Gibson. I mean, that you're thinking 40, 50 years, almost 50 years inside the business. So
I'm thinking a main event sometime. I'm thinking like a pay-per-view. I'm thinking that can be something. I mean, then, the end of the mullet era. Wow.
Yeah, for sure. That would be something spectacular to say the least. So, and Judas not only has that huge feud that's going on there, but he's got to have the back of his kids. He's got to have the back of Commodore Legion and Get 'em Kilgore all the time. And we see it time and time again. He takes up for them in and outside the ring, and even inside their matches, he inserts himself in such a way that it looks as if he is going to be there for them for the long haul. Would you say that that's a fair assessment there, sir?
He's totally invested in them. Well, he is totally invested in them. He sees the future. And plus, with Judas doesn't waste his time. If you're with Judas, he's going to push you to the top. Judas has been the top heel manager at SOM for 10 years. And he has destroyed careers, and he has elevated careers.
It's very interesting you said that, because you need to be specific in some of the careers that he's destroyed here, because they're huge names inside the wrestling business, huge names inside of Tennessee, and we've got to put it out on the line because he's definitely done it.
Oh, he has. And you know what? The list is going to continue. He showed me his hit list that he has. And he doesn't mind me telling anybody. I can't tell anybody who's on it. But he did have a hit list. And you're okay, Joseph. You're cool. There's a lot of folks that they don't even know they're on it. And they're not just on Mayhem.
Well, we spoke about it earlier. I run my mouth a lot. So it could switch at the drop of a hat. You know, the twinkling of an eye, it could switch. And Lord, do I not want to be on that man's bad side, because he has ill intentions all the time, and he doesn't know how to get rid of them until he scratches that itch, if you know what I mean.
That's right. And he doesn't want to just like beat you. He wants to destroy you. He comes from another land of misery. He doesn't want to just tell you. He's not going to tell you he's going to hurt you. He's not going to tell you he's going to beat you up. He's not going to do any of that. He's going to find something that you really love, and he's going to destroy it.
Absolutely, he is.
That's the way Judas rolls.
And
yeah, he'll find something that you really love, and then he'll destroy it. That could be a loved one. That can be your girlfriend. That can be your dog. I don't know what. Judas is very strange, but that's the way he rolls.
And they had a lovely valet that came out with them at one point in time as well. Talk about her just a little bit. Let's get into her.
Well, Envy. That's who we're talking about. And the thing about Envy is she is no stranger to the squared circle. And she is a stand by her man woman. Okay. We've seen Commodore Legion do some things that might be very questionable to the opposite sex. And yet, you know, it was all a ploy, you know, for somebody like a RT3. You see, a RT3 would be a perfect victim for somebody like an Envy, because she would just go, "Oh, how are you?" And then he'd get jumped right from behind. She is one of the most beautiful, let's just say, I'm not going to say conniving. I'm just saying that she has her ways. She has her ways, as most women do, and she gets what she wants. And she has more power than you think she does.
I would agree with that, because you can almost see that she kind of pulls the strings sometimes with Commodore Legion. And I hate to say this,
yes,
Judas, even though you're the manager, we really know who the real manager is behind there. And if she decided at any time that she was done with you, I think that would be a rivalry all into itself. Would you agree with that?
If anybody's had to deal with a scorned woman, that is not, I mean, even Mother Nature is nothing you mess with. So you're right. I mean, like I said, she has more power than a lot of folks would be led on to believe. Correct.
We got to move on just a little bit with Mayhem here. You guys have some new up-and-comers as well that are going to be out there each and every week for you. And you also have a new referee who used to be in the Mayhem mix as a wrestler as well. And it looks like he's still got some envy there for One Blade Gibson. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, isn't that kind of funny? You know, I mean, he got in trouble. He had the past is the past, and he's wanting to move on, and he decided that that we'll take another role in wrestling. But there were some questionable things that happened. We're not going to go over the show too much because we don't want to, like you said, we don't want to spoil anything from this weekend. But I think it's something we need to really keep our eye on him. I really do. I know he's got a new role, but I don't know how long he'll stay in it.
So here's the question. Do you think he paid his way into this role, especially since he was able to pay off a couple matches, wouldn't you say?
Well, we all thought it was strange. It just all of a sudden he just wanted to be a referee. I mean, what? I mean, one minute he wants to be the independent darling wrestler, and now all of a sudden he's like, I want to be a referee. We were like, so maybe it is sus. I mean, maybe I'm looking in, further into it, or maybe further down than I should be, but that was strange to me.
I think it's extremely suspect, to be honest with you, especially after the way that it happened after he got suspended and immediately comes back off suspension as a referee. Maybe that's his punishment. I mean, I don't know. I didn't talk to the powers that be at the School of Morton. I didn't get the lowdown scoop, but it definitely seems suspect. It seems like he has one referee in his back pocket that we know of for sure, 100% for sure. And it looks like he was guaranteed a spot to be on that officiating team if we keep speculating the way that we do. I mean, that's just how it seems, Malik.
Well, I do know he found a little loophole somewhere also, too. I don't know if it's Dallas has gotten with him some legal advice, but there was a little loophole where he was suspended from actually wrestling. So it had nothing to do with being a referee. I think that might have been the end, the loophole.
And he was able to make his money that way. You know, he's able to perform and make his money and get his money.
Paid.
You got to stay paid. I mean,
he got paid. And
that's a genius move, Prince Malik. Genius move. He outsmarted the system there, if that's the case. So,
and like I said, he's a smart cookie, and he's got persistency too. Now that kid right there, he's been through a lot, and for some, I could see him pulling something like this, but it also makes me wonder if that's too smart of a move for him. If that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense 100%. And if you guys don't know who we're talking about Brandon Moore. Brandon Moore is who we're talking about here. And I mean, we
the last person that you would think. Yeah,
absolutely. And we've got to ask these questions. We've got to talk about this and ask these questions, because not only is it suspect, but it also draws out, if he can do it, then who else in the back is watching this to see if they get in trouble, what they can get away with, right?
Right. And speaking of trouble, Willie Manus, I got a PSA for you from all the referees at SOM. If you're going to run your mouth on social media and get all the other referees a lot of heat and not show up, and they all get their tails whooped, they want a response from you, Willie. They want a response. You haven't been showing up, but you've been getting on social media. And you, Joseph, know as well as I do, these refs have been taking the blunt of all of his rants.
That is the lightest statement I've ever heard you say. It's not only a blunt, they've been taking a beating, and a bad beating at that. It looks like a domestic violence case where no police can be involved. That's what it looks like. It looks like they're beating them to death. Yeah. So, Willie Manus, you've gone to social media on more than one occasion to talk about this and run your mouth about this, and it's costing you referees. It's almost like you need a referee protection agency, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually asked me this weekend to tell Willie to please stop talking on social media. If there's a way that we could ban him or not get him to show up on the SOM website, the Facebook or whatever. They said, please, whatever you can do to get this guy to quit getting us killed, because he's getting us killed. And now, Willie, I hope you hear this. I hope you're hearing this.
Now,
I hope you're hearing it.
I do have to take and play devil's advocate here, though, a little bit, Malik. I do think that he is sending the right message, that you're not supposed to put your hands on the refs, that you're not supposed to beat the refs down, that you're not supposed to do anything that would put your questionability, your eligibility inside the ring, but make it questionable as far as what's happening as far as wins and losses go. And I do think that he is sending the right message on that front, that it should be illegal. These people should either be fined or suspended. I do agree with him, the message that he's sending. It's just he's going about it the wrong way. And then he is letting his team take the blunt of this force each and every week while he's not there to defend them and to do the things that he's saying he's going to do. So it makes another question. Is there going to be a refs union that's going to be formed off of this to kick him out or to find a way to protect themselves? You know what I mean?
Well, they're actually wondering which side Willie is on. I mean, because he does all this, but then he doesn't come to the shows. They're like, And they found out he was still on the payroll somehow. I don't know. But like he said, he's got to get that all figured out. We're going to get that all figured out. That's the things that come up in those are the things we deal with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. On a weekly basis, we've been dealing with this, and we're going to get to the bottom of it eventually. We know we've got an anonymous GM that's on Legacy, and I know that he put out a statement that absolutely no disrespect, no beating of the refs, no choking the refs, no kicking the refs, no hitting the refs at all will be tolerated. So we'll see what happens. We're going to see exactly what happens there from the anonymous GM of Legacy. And that's coming up Sunday, guys. You've got to be there. You got to be at the Morton Arena this Sunday, Prince Malik. That's at 128 Five Rivers Plaza in Newport, Tennessee, is where each and every one of you guys want to be. And tell them the Beaver and Prince Malik sent you this week. So, Prince,
yes, sir.
You know, you've got a lot of young guys that are there as well. We've got a lot of young guys that are all throughout professional wrestling coming to the School of Morton to be a professional wrestler and try to train at the school. What's one of the major reasons why you would choose the School of Morton if you were being a newbie, a greenhorn, to come into the business?
Well, for one thing, is the legacy that we have is it's funny that the name of the show is Legacy. But really, the legacy of the trainers that we've had at SOM over the year, you got Kinsey Page, you got Kazana, and over the years, we've had so many alumni from SOM, and you never know who you're going to see at SOM. Over the years, I've seen, you can almost name them and through the wrestling industry, and they've come through. And we're not just talking about seminars. We're talking about drop-ins. We're talking about people just coming in. You know, we had Ron Fuller at the school just weeks ago. Are you kidding me? Ron Fuller came to the school and hung out with us. Ron Fuller doesn't do that, you know. So, but not only that, just the legacy of SOM and then the quality of the training and the actual one-on-one attention that you get from the trainers at SOM. And also, if you're going to have somebody train you, they should have done something themselves. So it's always good to have a trainer that's actually been somewhere.
Absolutely. And you've got over 50 years of experience with Ricky Morton, who will come in and train. You've got Kerry Morton, his son, who's going to be there. You've got Kinsey Page, who's going to be there. You've got Casey Kazana, who's going to be coming in. Roosevelt trains every once in a while there with you guys as well. So you have a plethora of people that are coming in there. Not only that, but like you said, the drop-ins as well. Just to name a few, EC3 was there this past year. Mike Quackenbush was there this past year. And coming up, I know for a fact that we are scheduled in April 5th and 6th, to have none other than Santino Marella come on in and join us as well. Is that correct?
Oh, that is correct. And what an entertaining gentleman. And I'm telling you, folks, talk about the entertaining part of wrestling. Look at somebody who just really took the ball and ran with it. That is somebody, every time I think about him, I see somebody that took a character and just ran with it. I mean, just literally just did anything that he could, and he made everything work. And for him to come to the school, and he's going to take his time, and he's going to come down, and these seminars they're beautiful. Because you're actually learning when you're there. I mean, you can see it in the eyes of the students, and you can see it in the eyes of the trainers and the presenters when they're there, the passion in their voice. And I've been at every seminar that they've had at SOM, and every one of them have been wonderful. Every one of them.
So that's going to be April 5th and 6th at the School of Morton Arena, right there, 128 Five Rivers Plaza in Newport, Tennessee. Now, it's going to be $100 per person, and it's going to be at 1 p.m., but they're also trying to do tryouts as well. So if you're looking to get to the next level and go to the next level, they're going to be doing it. Then also Sunday, April 6th, the Cobra Strikes Back is going to be taking place right there at Morton Arena with Santino Marella. Ryan Mantis is going to be there. Casey Kazana, Evan Golden, Papa Joe, by the book, baby, is going to be there. The Savior, TKO, and the American Diesel Dump Truck, also known as Truck now, after his wicked turn at the last legacy. So I'm telling you, it's going to be action-packed, Malik. I can't wait for any of this to take place. And if you guys want tickets, you can scan those QR codes right there on the bottom of your screen right now. Get those QR codes in, scan them, get your tickets today for the School of Morton, and come be with us and be proud in April to be at the Cobra Strikes Back. Prince Malik, it's going to be just a wonderful time. I cannot wait for this to take place, everything to go on here. So I know you're looking forward to it, especially like you said, with Santino Marella being able to perform in any role that was given to him, whether it was comedy, whether it was actually action-packed inside the ring, whether he was officiating a wedding, as we've seen in the past year him do. He has done some awesome stuff in wrestling. And you never know where it's going to take you guys. You never know at all where it's going to take each and every one of you if you decide to get in. And that's what we're talking about. Get involved with the School of Morton, become one of the professional wrestlers, and there's no telling where the big bright lights and the stars are going to take you. Is that right, Prince Malik?
That is correct. And if you put in the work, you will get what you get. And you got to put in the work and you got to show up. That's part of it. You got to be there.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what your passion is, to be honest with you, as long as it's professional wrestling. You have a passion for professional wrestling and you have a burning desire in your heart to do this, you can be the next big star. All you have to do is sign up today at theschoolofmorton.com. Go ahead and give them that questionnaire. Ask them the questions. I promise you, James and Lisa Strange, Ricky Morton, all of them will be more than willing to answer your questions. Prince Malik, if you get a chance to see him, if you got a chance to talk to him, Prince, you would answer some questions, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely. I definitely would. Definitely. And the thing is the folks that have brought me in, the road to wrestling has so many different paths. And you got to be open to it. You got to be open to any kind of thing that can come down the road. You have to.
Absolutely, you do. Not only do you have to be open to whatever is going to be taking place for you, you have to be willing to accept it. It may look like this is going nowhere. It may look like your gimmick is not going to get over, but I promise you, if you'll go out there and give it your heart, it doesn't matter if you're a jobber today, because tomorrow you could be the superstar of the future. A perfect example of that would be one Christian Lee, wouldn't you say? I think that boy is up and coming and he's on the rise.
Christian Lee is up on the rise, and the thing is, like you said, the young blood, they're coming in, they're getting their chops, they're taking their licks, and they're also respecting their elders too. When they come in, these guys, they know, like the old saying goes, they know their role, and when they don't, well, we put them back in their role sometimes. So, but it's all good. It's the way it goes, and that happens any kind of field that you work in.
Absolutely. It does. You definitely have to know where you fit in. You get in where you fit in. That's the saying, right? You get in where you fit in. And so you definitely want to fit in at the School of Morton. And believe me, there's always a spot for you. There's always going to be a spot for you at the School of Morton. Is that correct?
That is correct. 100%, Mr. Joseph.
So don't worry. Hey, listen, don't worry if you're wheelchair bound. Don't worry if you had problems inside your head, if your girlfriend broke up with you. Professional wrestling always has an opportunity for each and every one of us. It does not matter where our background was. It does not matter what's happened to us in the past. All that matters is what we do going forward. And each and every day, Prince Malik, as long as we're looking to break those generational curses, and as long as we're willing to trailblaze into something new, we will succeed and overcome. And we want to invite you to succeed and overcome at the School of Morton. Get involved with them today, guys. Be a perfect place for each and every one of you. Right here, I'm going to put it up on the screen for you one more time. theschoolofmorton.com. Right here, if you click under the training tab and scroll down, it's going to ask you things to consider for a 12-week program that'll get your foot inside the door. And if you're interested in continuing your education, guess what? They offer training to continue your education at the School of Morton as well. If you have any questions or concerns, you're more than welcome to ask them on this page as well. If you're ready to commit, they have an option for you to pay for your training today. They also have the seminars that are available to each and every one of their students. Each and every one of their students has the opportunity to learn from some of the best that have been inside the industry, some of the best that will ever be inside the industry, and they want you to be a part of that. There is promo classes. Is that not correct?
Oh, yes, it is. And that's very important in professional wrestling. very important, and we take care of that.
They teach you everything you need to know. Commentary. They teach you how to talk, how to look, how to act on a mic, how to make sure that you're presenting your body and body language correctly in front of the camera, how to be camera ready. That is a huge one inside the industry, is it not, Prince Malik?
It is. You have to have that. You have to be ready. When that red light turns on, you got to be ready.
Yes, you do. And you have to know exactly where the hard camera, because some places have more than one, but you got to know exactly where that main hard camera is and how to work that hard camera. That is exactly what you've got to do. And the school, there's no better place to teach you that than the School of Morton. They work hard to ensure that you are getting the best quality training possible. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct. And when you go to the big show, when you leave us, they'll know that you've been trained well, because you'll know exactly what to do when you get there.
That's absolutely right. So go ahead, head over to the schoolofmorton.com. On the homepage, scroll down to the contact us, enter your name, send them your message. Let them know you're interested in becoming a professional wrestler today, and let them get you to the next level. Let them market you and put you on the next ring of the ladder, because that's exactly what you want for your career and exactly what you want to do for your life. Make sure that you're a part of the School of Morton today. Prince Malik, it has been an honor, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, before we go, I know that you're into music, are you not?
Yes, sir. Yeah, to say that, to put it mildly, yes, that's right. I know that eventually you and I are going to have another one of these meetings, and we'll have a time together where we can get a lot into the deeper things. But yep, 25 years musician. Yes, sir.
And I believe you have an album for sale. Is that correct?
That's right. You can find Think for Yourself by the Scuds. You can find that. Just type that in or Google it, and it'll come up on Amazon. It's not the cheapest album that's for sale right now, but that's because it's one of the best albums that's out right now. It's 25 years old, but it's never lost its taste.
It's a classic. And I'm going to tell you what, we made you a QR code, and we got a special deal for you going on right now. If you guys scan that QR code, it's going to take you directly to his page. You don't even have to search for it. You can just scan that QR code, and it's going to take you directly there. It is a little bit expensive, but you know what? It's well worth. It's like fine wine, baby. You can't pay for enough good taste, baby. That's all there is to it. So we've got a link for you created up on the screen right now. Go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to the Scuds. Think for yourself. You guys purchase that album today from Prince Malik. Help him out. Help support professional wrestling. Help support his dream. And you guys, remember, you all heard it right here first on Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. Prince Malik, it's been an honor to have you here today, sir. Before I let you go, would it be fair to say that you'd like to come back and talk sometime?
I would love to come back, because I've got to talk about my newest band, the Dead Von Erichs. When we get together, we'll talk about them.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we'll talk about them, and of course, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll get into the wrestling and all the how Bobby Eaton trained me, and about how we got to so much stuff to talk about when it comes to that, and Ricky Morton and all the crazy road stories and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely get with you. We'll put you on the calendar to have you come on back in, and we would love to have you back here at Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. So thank you so much tonight for being here with us. And before we go, guys, we always want to give you the opportunity to become a Power Slam member on Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout.com is where we do all of our hosting. You can scan that QR code right there. You can donate for as little as $3 a month, and that helps us. That keeps everything going on. Our lights, our water, our podcast. It provides everything for us that we can do to bring this excellent content for you guys and to you guys each and every week. So we would love to have you subscribe to that. Thank you guys so much. And then the other thing we do is we have our merchandise as well. We sell it through www.streamlabs.com/Arabbidb3aver/merch, or you can scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to it. Get you some Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver merch. Get you some Arabbidb3aver merch. Get you the Camel Toe Adventures music merch. Get it all today, guys. We would love for you to do that. And every time that you pay for us, a portion of your proceeds go to charity. It goes into donating towards the Kidney Foundation. So thank you guys so much for that. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for that. Prince Malik, it's been an honor to have you here today, sir. I cannot thank you enough for coming in. I don't even know how you got here, to be honest with you, but it looks like you made Logan Ragnarok so mad that he left and he's not coming back. So I'm going to have to get with him privately and see if everything's okay with him.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate being on the best, the #1 wrestling podcast that's out there right now. So I was glad to be on here. So.
Thank you. That's a great honor, sir. I don't consider myself that. I don't even consider myself one of the boys, to be honest with you. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate you on that. And remember, guys.
Well, you are. So there you go.
Thank you so much. Remember, guys, you heard it here first on Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. And until the next time, let's get slammed together and come see a live show. Come see us at the School of Morton. Bye, guys.